Friends, welcome to beautiful Carmel, California, literally backyard to Pebble Beach, which in like 2 to 3 weeks from this day will be Pebble Beach Concours. Now, this is normally a place, at least in August, where you're only allowed to drive fancy cars. So Nissan decided to take the opportunity to be the contrarian investor and debut a work truck. So you and I are literally here before the whole thing starts. We've got these odd looking covers here, but there's 2 work trucks under here, so why don't you and I unwrap them together and see what's going on. Okay, so without further ado, let's unwrap this. I think we start with the half-ton. This is the 2017 Nissan Titan single cab pickup truck, work truck. I'm actually getting this thing off without it blowing into the wind. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it into the bed over here. So this is like the regular short, I guess I wouldn't call it short, but this is the regular cab with a long bed in the back. Now let's go look at the powerful one. Now you and I have been driving a lot of these things as of late. We drove the Titan XD. They kind of start at the top, the crew cab Titan XD, and then we drove the crew cab Titan XD with a gasoline engine. Well, this is also an XD, but this is a single cab, and this one here is a diesel. 2017 as well. Okay, this is not going so well on this one. Okay, so I think we got that now. You can get an idea of what this thing looks like. So let's move over here and go through a mini tech review, and let's start where we always start, the engine. So you and I have not only driven this engine before, but we've seen it naked at the plant in which it's manufactured. This is the 5.6 liter V8, puts out 390 horsepower, comes in at 5,800 RPM, and then the torque is 394, but it comes in at a relatively high engine speed of 4,000 RPM. This is paired to a 7-speed automatic. Now let's put aside the V8. There is going to be a V6 on offer. I tried to get the details of the V6 out of Rich, who runs this whole product line. Even though we are both Sun Devils, he wouldn't tell me this information. So we'll have to get back to you on that. Anyway, let's put aside the engine and let's get to really the biggest difference of this from the 2 previous Titans we've driven. And just kind of recap, we drove a Titan XD Cummins turbo diesel crew cab. Whew, it's a long name. And then we drove a Titan XD crew cab, but with this engine, so a gas engine. So the biggest difference, the obvious, is this is a single cab. This is a work truck. But then the other difference is the frame, and that's really the biggest. So think 150 to 250 or 1500 to 2500 in the Ford and Chevy world. So the biggest difference, if you look over here and actually look at our episodes, because we actually saw those trucks naked, the frame is huge. Like the box of this frame, I mean, this thing, you could literally launch ships on the size of the frame in this thing here. Where this is a completely different, separate ladder frame here. You could actually, I don't know, maybe we'll get a little bit in there. You can see it's not as tall. It's obviously doing something different. This is a work truck. Like you take a look, obviously, in the white livery here, this looks like a work truck. Like the guy who's going to turn up and build your house would come to you in something like this. Now, another trick going on, you can, whether it's this red one here or the white one, you can see it beautifully here. Look at the length of the bed. So whether it's going to be the king cab, which hasn't been shown yet, or the crew cab, which we have driven, there are 3 beds on offer. There's a 5.5 foot, a 6.5 foot, which we've driven in those 2 other episodes, and then there's this 8 foot. Now, in this particular version, you'd think, okay, this is definitely a shorter vehicle, so the wheelbase is a bit shorter, but it's ultimately the same wheelbase and length as the crew cab, and the big difference is this one is 8 foot in the bed. Anyway, let's put that aside, and let's press on over here. Notice the front end looks a little bit different in the work truck here. This is the XD, so let's go through what this is. Now, this is not just a black grille for the sake of being a black grille. This one is the diesel engine. This is locked, so I can't even show you the engine. But again, you've seen this engine before. This one is built in Indiana by our friends at Cummins. Now, this one is a bit different in that, obviously, it's a diesel. But the horsepower, let's put aside the horsepower, because what we're interested in is the torque. 555 pounds-feet of torque, and then that goes through a 6-speed Aisin unit. So 7 gears here, 6 gears over here. So long and short of the story, this is, if you think about all of this put together, there is a crew cab which we have driven, there's 3 different levels of bed, and then there's 2 engines on offer and then a 3rd engine coming. So long and short of the story, there's a lot of mix and match going on, and this is the first time, if you really think about it, that Nissan is offering a single cab or a work truck in the Titan. Prior to this, it was either a king cab or a crew cab. So that's about everything now. We're actually here to drive the 1500, but the crew cab, as well as the Nissan Armada, and if we have enough time, the Nissan Pathfinder, 2017 Nissan Pathfinder, which has a little bit more power and some more refinements. So look for coming episodes. We're going to do a tech review of the Nissan Armada, which I'm very excited about because I've always loved patrols, and I really think they should call it patrol. And then we're going to do a full first drive review of that truck. Then we're going to do a tech review of the 1500. So we'll do a lot of what's on this truck we'll talk about in the tech review. That's why we're only doing a mini tech review here, because I wanted you guys to actually see what this thing looks like, because we are literally the first ones to see this thing publicly. As a matter of fact, our man Dan from Nissan here, this is the first time he's seen the thing in person. So this is kind of a special access we got here. So we'll do a tech review of the crew cab version of the 1500, and then we'll do a full first drive review of that as well. So with that, I want to turn this around to you guys and leave you guys with a question. So as I said, this is the first time that Nissan is offering a single cab, a work truck, whatever you want to call it, in the Titan arena. So my question to you is very simple. If you are in this market of buying a truck, or if you're just a truck aficionado, and from what I'm finding out through these 2 Titan episodes, you guys are very vocal about this stuff. Don't think I've forgotten about our turbo controversy on this thing. Anyway, we'll put that aside. So my question to you is this: now that there is choices, not just a crew cab and not just a 6.5-foot bed, now that there's choices, would these additional choices make you more likely to think of a Nissan Titan, or is the religion of Ford and Chevy just that strong where you would never commit heresy and even look at this stuff? And you know what, just don't tell me yes or no. Give me your why or why not, and also let me know what region of the world, or really what region of the country you live in. Let me know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV all one word, MotoManTV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave you with 2 things. Number 1, make sure you download our fancy new mobile application, which you can download for free at Apple iTunes or Google Play. And number 2, I want to leave you with a fun fact. So you're probably looking behind me and saying, wow, it's really gray and just dark in beautiful Monterey, Carmel, Pebble Beach, California. Well, that is not clouds, that is ash from a fire in Big Sur. So kind of like over that way, there's a huge fire and it's raining down ash on me. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to get through the ash, to drive our trucks and experience the beauty that is the Monterey Peninsula. Until I see you next time, bis später.